Well, hey, welcome to How to Be a Texan.
Hey, man, how are you?
Okay. What is that? What are you doing?
It's called Last Train to Mars.
No. There's not a train.
Oh, it's literally what it's called, Last Train to Mars. It's under the genre country and folk / sad.
Well, I like happy.
Okay.
I prefer happy.
Well, how about Morning Mandolin?
Well, hey, Kevin. Good luck with your music search. But regardless, how you doing, man? Welcome back.
Good, man. How are you?
Yeah, good. Man, it's exciting to be back. So, Kevin and I took we took a couple of months off and had a nice summer break, holiday, and now we're back. So it's time, baby, to do some more How to Be a Texan. You excited about that?
I'm excited to be back.
I am too.
I'm excited to be in a brand new studio.
This is freaking awesome. We're with your elder, and he's amazing. He looks amazing. He's got an amazing studio, Andrew, and we're just tickled to be here, man. Thank you.
Studio 725.
Thanks for coming over and hanging out.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for providing the coffee from Novel Coffee Roasters.
There you go.
At novelcoffee.flowermound.
Not a sponsor, but there you go.
Actually sponsored.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Because I work and I provided. So
this episode's sponsored by Novel Coffee Roasters.
Okay, all $4 of it. That's fantastic. Well, thank you for that. All right,
and part of the studio.
There you go. Okay.
So what are we going to talk about today?
So today we have a fantastic episode, and it's called DIY. Now, do you know what DIY stands for?
Do it yourself.
Okay, so I didn't know that for a long time.
Kind of like this podcast.
Yeah, well, I know. We do it ourselves just right?
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. But anyway, see, I didn't know what DIY stood for forever.
You got to be kidding me.
No, I really didn't. Just like, LOL and LMAO or whatever, I don't know what any of those stand for. I just giggle along with them. And
those are in a different category. Those are text.
DIY has been around for a long time.
It's been around forever.
Well, it's the same thing. Amy has to explain a lot of jokes to me. It's the same thing here.
Trust me, this is what I live through every episode of this. I get it.
I know now because somebody finally told me, or maybe I Googled it, like, what's DIY? Well, anyway, I'm like, hey, I do a lot of that, right? You do a ton of that, right?
We do a lot of DIY.
Yeah, and so we're talking about DIY today, doing it yourself in Texas. And do you think we do it more DIY stuff than anybody else, or is it just kind of a Southern thing, or is it an American? Or
I think it's an American thing right now.
Okay.
I think so many people do so much more things around their house than they used to. And there's a lot of just TV shows that promote it,
And you can
HGTV network and you can spend a whole weekend watching DIY home improvement shows, multiple episodes, and probably one of the biggest ones is based out of Waco.
Oh, those guys, Chip and Joanna, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the whole foundation of America is built on DIY.
Yes, it is.
That's true.
Going across the sea to start your own thing.
That's America. That's America.
It's America at its finest.
That's a great point, Andrew. We DIY America.
I think it is across the U.S. because I got friends up in Pacific Northwest who bought a house in Seattle, gutted it, rebuilding the whole thing. And of course, our buddy Brandon down here did something similar.
They don't DIY in California and New York, do they?
Yeah.
No. They just pay people to do stuff, right?
They can't afford to pay people to do anything in those states, man.
Cost of living's too high.
Cost of living's insane.
I think it depends. Probably depends.
Yeah, I don't think it's a state issue. I think people enjoy getting out and doing work on weekends because we all sit behind computers all the time now.
Well,
what you and I were talking about that earlier.
I agree, but I like Andrew's analogy. This country is built on DIY.
That's true. This is a DIY country, basically.
That's dead on.
The whole thing.
We just bootstrapped it up.
Yeah.
Go America. All right, so one of the articles that I pulled for this was kind of fun, and it talked about why people do it yourself more. And one of those is that, like Kevin, you said, that we sit, behind computers all day for the most part, and we don't have that hands-on feel of making stuff anymore, this post-industrial landscape that we're in. And so I think maybe that's one reason. The big recession that we just had in 2008, I think, has caused people, and that's part of this article too, that it's caused people to say, look, I want to save money, so I think I can do it myself more. And frankly, you really can YouTube anything. Mm-hmm. And as you know, I do that a lot.
I think that's how, I hate to go political, but I think that's kind of how our president got elected. It's kind of a DIY presidency. If you kind of think about it.
Well, that's true. He did this grassroots and got kind of mid-America on board, and
I'm sure that part will be edited out.
Yeah, whatever. But regardless. Okay, so some of the pros and cons of doing it yourself, in my mind, are what's a con of if you do it yourself? What is the result that you get?
If me personally,
yeah.
I get suboptimal quality.
Well,
but there is a time factor. On a more serious note, there is a time factor to it, right? Because I really enjoy being outside on the weekends on our property. Most of the summers, I am outdoors all weekend, every weekend, just doing stuff, and it's a lot of fun. But that does sometimes take away from things that I could be doing with the girls or with Kendra or whatever. They like to go shopping, and I like to go.
Not shopping.
Just mess around and go drive the tractor or whatever.
Yeah. No,
so there's a time commitment, but
I've seen some of your work though, and so Kevin's DIY projects generally turn out about 1,000 times better than Kyle's DIY projects.
I don't know.
Your
about
chicken coop is one. That chicken coop you built is Taj Mahal.
Yeah,
it's the nicest chicken coop in the world ever.
Well, I don't know if I go there.
That's like chickens flock to that coop. They want a piece of that.
They do. Well, it's amazing.
I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the work I did inside the barn too.
Yes, it looks fantastic.
Built out that area in there,
right? And then
that barn door inside. The house.
I did those too. I get a lot of compliments on those.
So Kevin, when you do something, you really take the time, you research it, you take it to completion, and it's really, really well done.
My issue is that I take too much time. Right, I'm backed up on a project to make shutters for our house.
Okay.
And, that could end up in marriage counseling if I don't get the ball rolling.
I was about to say it eventually comes to completion.
Yeah.
So that's the downside.
So you should ask my wife Amy about my DIY.
No, you do great stuff, Kyle.
No,
you're really underselling your abilities.
No, and thank you for that, but that's wrong. The fence is a perfect example. We lived in Euless. Our very first house was in Euless, which is in between Dallas and Fort Worth, and I had to do a fence, and literally I did it myself, and I'm like, I'm not paying anybody so I went to Home Depot and I got pickets and whatever. Well, anyway, about 75% through it, I'm just like, I'm done. I'm so done. So I literally just slapped up the rest of it and was done. I do that on every one of my projects where I have great energy and enthusiasm through about 75% of the project, and I don't have the staying power to get it done. And it drives Amy crazy, as opposed to you, who you really, once you think through it, you just are totally focused and get it done to completion. And then you look at it, take a picture, and you're good. Wrap it up with a bow. I can't do that. I just flame out with my attention span, which is awful.
Well, yeah, I don't know that I would agree with your assessment on that.
Well, some of my projects. Now, I did finish my chicken coop. I did finish
your chicken coop is phenomenal.
I don't know about that. It's falling apart. But regardless.
The arena that you built, built an entire horse arena.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
You've taken out,
You built a tree house.
No, I paid a guy to do it.
Never mind.
It's actually quite nice.
Never mind then.
Yeah, no, it's quite nice.
The gardening, I mean, you far exceed any of my abilities in gardening.
Yeah, but if you see my PVC HawkNet, watering system right now, about 9 months after I built it, no. You'd be like, dude.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't come over for the tour.
No, it's not. It's not good. It's just PVC's not meant to hang. Let's put it that way. Gravity pulls PVC down.
So the PVC that's used for the netting is also delivering water?
It is.
Okay. Nice.
It is.
Good design.
Yeah. No, it was a fun design, but I need a much more solid frame, like
Framework.
steel or wood, to hold it all
hold
in
the PVC
place. Because
up.
PVC just can't handle gravity over time.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And so, that's not going to work. So I'm going to have to reboot on that project.
What about like home repairs? Do you generally
Oh,
try to
I love
DIY
trying
repairing?
to do that and then have a ready 5 backup. you know, at any second, because if it explodes, then I need somebody to call.
Yeah.
But for example, plumbing. You live out on kind of a little mini ranch like we do, and there is more plumbing that I've had to learn, and I am the world's worst plumber, but you have to figure it out. And the thing is, it's black or white. You either have a leak or you don't. If you fix it, you don't have a leak. If you don't fix it, you still have a leak. So that's the nice thing of it. It's absolute, and that's what I have figured out with all of our barn stuff. I've had to replumb all this stuff, and it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare because it seems like every year there's 3, 4, 5 other things that come, and then plastic, it always kind of deteriorates, it feels like, versus the copper steel, and I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. See, mine is, we have an old pool. So all that pool equipment is older. It's old school.
Right.
I spend a lot of time messing with that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
But I've gotten to where I just repair that stuff myself because it's not hard to do.
And see, we spend way too, because I outsource that. I've got the pool
But you have
company.
new, like, modern equipment.
Yeah,
right?
but it drives me crazy because this guy comes out and I don't know how to fix it, which is so sad. I mean, why can't I just? And I've tried to YouTube. It's like, how to repair a pool pump.
I started calling. There's a pool supply. I guess I'll just say the name Leslie's Pool Supply.
Yeah.
I started calling them.
Those people are really helpful.
Oh, they tell you. So, like, I had a pump that our whole pump burned out.
Oh.
We have a company that comes and does a weekly kind of cleaning.
Yeah.
But I just don't trust them on repairs because I think they take advantage.
Okay.
Just to be honest.
Okay.
And it's not through Leslie's. So when our pool pump burned out, I called Leslie's and I said, hey, there's smoke coming out of the pool pump. I said, do you have someone that you could recommend that I could use that's not going to rip me off?
Right.
And the guy said, it's 4 bolts to take that thing out. Just take it out, bring it up here.
Oh, yeah. No, I did a YouTube video just on that very thing. It's not that hard at all.
It's not hard. So I literally took the whole thing out, took it up to Leslie's. They had it fixed up a couple days, put it back in, saved me probably
a lot. Several $100s.
at least. Yeah.
Yeah, several $100s. Well, okay, so a couple of things on that. So before we get into kind of the categories of DIY, it seems like there is just this desire to be more self-sufficient. I know you and I have talked about that before where, I like the idea, and maybe it goes back to our, I don't even know, sustainability episode we did a long time ago. But it just talks about, where I like to garden. I like my chickens. I don't have milk, from the cat, from Alice. I did sell Vera, by the way. Vera was mean, and I got rid of her. She was no good. So
She was no good.
But I've got my big red Angus cow, Alice, she's got milk in her, but I'm getting meatball off of her because we're going to eat meatball. Sorry. But we're going to eat him. We're marbling him up right now as we speak. I don't even know what that means, but he's getting good and fat. So, anyway, but we like to be self-sufficient, and I think Americans like to be self-sufficient, so therefore they try to do it yourself. So,
but I think also a lot of people like to just pay for stuff too sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I go back and forth on that too. Sometimes I'll just want to go do it, and sometimes I'm just like, I don't have time.
Right.
Let's just get, like, we had a dryer issue.
Okay.
And I was going to take it apart, start looking at it, and I just didn't have time. And I just finally said, Kendra, just call somebody.
No, Kendra was coming to our house drying your clothes.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was so weird.
So
I'm
we got
hey, Kendra, what's
the
up?
heating element went out last weekend.
Yeah.
And so I just said, let's just get somebody out. So the guy came yesterday and got it fixed.
See, there's a time pressure on that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you've got something that's not really a time-sensitive matter, then fine, do it yourself. Take your time, do whatever. But if it's something like a dryer, it's like,
yeah,
no,
just got to get
your
it done.
clothes stink, So, okay, yeah, no, I agree with that. For me, we had some stuff done this summer in the house. We had a guy come over and he was helping us redo some bathrooms because our bathrooms, were built in 96. Mm-hmm. The whole house was built in 96. And so it's just, it's 22 years old. It's tired. and it just needed a fresh look in some of the bathrooms. So we had a guy, Randy, come over. He did an amazing job, and he'd get these subcontractors for tile or the shower or whatever, and they would come and go, and it was great, but it was so fast. And could I have done it? Yes, I've done tile work. I do crappy tile work, but I've done it. But that would have taken so many weekends and nights to try to do it in a half-baked house that Amy and I just said, no, let's just.
We've got that on our agenda coming up next too.
Okay.
And literally, we've been talking about calling that guy.
Yeah.
I think we've got his info.
Oh,
I've been going back and forth on, why spend money on a guy when I can do all that myself?
That's right.
So much cheaper.
That's right.
But then the time
value
of
money, the time value of just the value of your time is, can you dedicate hundreds of hours to that? And do you really want to? And I think that's always the cost benefit. And some people, it's like, okay, well, wait a minute. I physically can't afford that. I can't afford to pay somebody. So I can afford to get the tile. I can afford to get the mortar, the grout, the whatever. No problem. That stuff's really not that expensive. But
there's a certain amount of pride that goes into it after you complete it. Like that chicken coop or whatever.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Or the stuff you build. It's like, I did a good job.
The deck that my roommate
this
put in
deck out here is awesome.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Blake did that
Oh,
himself.
decks are fun.
with his parents,
Yeah. As long as you don't walk across it and get like 14 splinters in your toe.
No, that's not. I think it's got like a covering on it that has like a wood texture look to it.
Oh yeah, nice.
Wood grain look. So
Andrew, you haven't seen the new floors at home. We got to come over and check those out.
Okay.
Nice.
They look really good.
Really?
Yeah. I did them all myself. Too.
Yeah. No, you did not.
I've been tied.
Yeah, I'm so
tied
sure.
up doing that for a couple of weeks.
Kevin's family had a recent unfortunate flood. Yeah, so sorry about that.
Add that to the DIY list.
Yeah, that was a DIY flood right there.
It was DIY.
Yeah, sorry.
Thanks to Sarah.
Well, toilets do continue
bowels.
to go. No, it wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault.
I don't know. We've checked into her diet and what we're feeding her.
Oh, come on now. Come on. Floods happen.
Gonna have to switch her feed.
It's so
Put her
wrong.
on senior feed.
So what I thought we'd do, Kevin, is just talk a little bit about some of the projects that you and I have done, and then some of the things that we really want to do, or at least I know I want to do, because I know DIY is a big deal for me, and I love. One of the things that I'm watching right now is this. There's a series on building Alaska. I don't know if you've seen that or not, but it's these guys that are in 4 or 5 different parts of Alaska. And first of all, I love Alaska. I've been able to go there 3 times as a young man right after I graduated college. I haven't been there since, but regardless, it's such a beautiful, untouched land, and there's like 5 families that are building, kind of new homes up there in these really remote parts, and it just kind of walks them through. And they're having to, talk about bootstrapping stuff. They're figuring it out because it'll take weeks for them to get stuff from the lower 48 up. So they really have to think through it and get it done. So it's fascinating to me. So I love that. So for me personally, I know I'm going to continue to DIY hopefully until I'm said and done. But I thought it'd be fun just to talk a little bit about some of the projects that we've done, and then maybe potentially some of the things that we want to do in the future, and then we'll wrap it up. So we talked about the chicken coop for you. I've noticed you've got a real penchant for your septic system. I'm kidding, of course.
That thing is the bane of my. Talk about home repair issues.
Yeah, it's been troubling, right?
It's horrible. It's environmentally friendly. We have our own, water processing facility on the property. That's
Sure.
the marketing.
Is that what they say?
Well,
Oh my
I
gosh.
can't remember the term that's used for it, but it's basically a septic system,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it sucks.
Yeah. No, we've got one too, and it's the 3-chamber thing, and you've got bacteria in it that eats it, and it goes to the next one, and more bacteria eat it, and then it basically goes to the third one. And it's basically clean, potable water or whatever,
Right.
and then it sprays out in the pasture.
Yeah, so ours is a little more old. Yours is. There was a time in the early 90s when they tried to innovate with these.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they're bad.
Okay.
They're bad.
Okay.
So we have one of those early 90 models that is supposed
sorry.
to be better, but
Sorry.
yeah, it's not good.
Well,
not
I just
good.
I just enjoyed the stories of you trying to like re-hose it yourself, and
I do.
that's not good.
All the time.
Dealing in your own family's
About
stuff.
Every 3 months, that thing. I'm hopeful now that the boys are both out of the house that we won't have as many
Less
issues.
volume. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was we did not have enough capacity for a family of 6.
Wow.
So that's
Okay.
never fun.
All right, but then so the septic system, but now you've got it relatively under control though, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It usually hums along for about 3-4 months.
Yeah.
Craps out.
Oh, geez.
Pun intended.
I will tell you, we've got one of the funniest guys that comes to our house. We got Sully, that big yellow dog.
Uh-huh.
Well, our guys, and I'm not going to use foul language on this, but regardless, we've got this funny guy. We've got a contract with this company, and they come by quarterly, every 3 months, and they check it out, make sure our septic system's all good. Well, this guy is the funniest guy. He smokes like crazy, and he's just kind of crass and foul, but he's one of the funniest guys I've ever met. Well, anyway, he loves my yellow dog, Sully. And he comes out there, and of course, Sully does he's right at crotch level. So for everybody that comes to my house,
He gooses everybody.
He comes up and smells your crotch first thing. And I just have to tell people, I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry, but this is kind of your initiation that Sully's going to come on in. It's so embarrassing. But anyway, this guy just, he opens up. He's like, come on, Sully, smell it and enjoy it. And then he just sits there and plays with this. He plays with Sully for half an hour, and then he goes, checks, and says, yeah, your system's fine. I got to go. So I just love this guy. But anyway, you just never know the people you're going to come across. But
That's
okay,
great.
so keep on going. But then, you guys are such a coffee family, and I just love that. I've learned a ton. I was telling you about, my limited knowledge of coffee roasting, but you guys, man, y'all are amazing at coffee roasting.
You're looking at Andrew on that. Yeah,
Well,
he is.
yeah.
I'm horrible at it.
Well, I don't know.
I sent some of my coffee, and Andrew, he wanted to take it to the shop, and I said, don't. And then I finally broke down and gave him some. And then I started getting all these text messages like, we just brewed some of your coffee. It smells like the 4th of July fireworks over here.
It did.
Yeah. And then it was
my
like, yeah, there's
gosh.
just like a...
It was very American. All right, I'll say that.
Oh, then he was like, then
It
there's just...
smelled of freedom.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, and apparently there's a smoke note throughout.
Yeah, but describe what you did. I mean, that's amazing.
And then
you're like a hero to coffee roaster.
No,
wannabes.
Andrew built that whole thing.
Okay, so
not me.
Andrew, tell us what you did, because it's so cool what you
It
built.
is a cool setup. I just don't know how to use it. And since he moved out, the coffee's been in the toilet.
So
in the septic
our
system.
old system used to be more DIY than what it is now.
Right.
Oh, that's right. We went through a lot of iterations. Didn't we?
We went through a whole experimental phase of. So the first one that we had that actually worked really good before we got our big thing was we took 2 like metal mesh like pencil cups that you put pencils in,
Right.
and we clasped them together. That's a hard word to say.
Yeah, it is.
We clasped them together, and we hooked it up. We set it on like the rotisserie mount thing. We put one on there, and we put a drill. We had bricks on there and a drill.
And this is on a barbecue grill.
On a gas grill,
Yeah.
And we had a clamp that went on the trigger, and we would have to dial in like the rotation speed so it wasn't too fast. And that's how we did it. And we could roast like 1/4 pound on that thing, I think.
Yeah, but no, I came over and watched you do it. It was
And,
awesome. You'd get it up to 600 degrees or whatever, and then start.
Well, no, that's the end product.
Yeah,
that was
What
the end
he's
product?
describing is the journey where
This
we went
was-
through several drums before we even got there.
That was
Okay.
our first iteration of the gas grill drum. Before we were doing it in like a popcorn popper and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was the first iteration. And then the second one we tried doing with like a turkey pot, a turkey frying pot, and that didn't go very well. We tried to perforate like the back of it and stuff, and that one just did not go well. There were several fires with that one.
Well, and we were trying to get to where we could see the beans, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
if you
we
can-
could see the beans
If you can
and
see the beans, you
take
can see them
samples out.
change color.
Oh, yeah.
And I had seen one on YouTube where a guy had this big pot and there was a hole in the end of it, and it just worked beautifully. And he could reach in, grab a sample. So I recreated it, and we used one of those turkey roasting things that was perfect. And then how did we make the lid? Somehow we had a lid with a hole cut in it.
Yeah, it was like I think it was like a stainless steel bowl, right?
It was a stainless steel bowl.
Yeah.
Oh.
And we cut the end off, and then it would clamp on. It looked cool.
Yeah,
It looked
really
very
cool.
legit.
Wow.
But there was no airflow into it because it was a solid pot.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I guess maybe we didn't have it perfectly level, but the beans would kind of fall out the
Oh, yeah,
end
that's
and then
right.
combust and catch on fire and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's
So we had several
that was
fires
that was
with
an
one.
issue.
Well, I just saw the end one. I guess the one that you have
They're
now.
highly flammable.
Yeah,
coffee
so
beans are.
the
Coffee-
most recent one that we have is from a company called RK Drums.
Oh.
And it's like a 4-pound max drum, but you really only want to do like 1 to 2 pounds in it.
Huh.
And it's pretty cool. So you buy this kit and they send you a drum and you put a rotisserie rod through it. And they send you a motor with like a mount and stuff.
Oh,
and then
wow.
you hook that up to, I wired it up to like a little light switch thing.
Yeah.
Flip it on and off. And yeah, it's got a motor. It spins it at the right RPM. And
See.
yeah, it's pretty cool. You can
That's-
take it on and off. And then we also, in order to cool the beans, we took like a floor fan and we like had it pointing up.
Oh.
And got like this big shiv thing
Uh-huh.
or sifter type deal.
Put them in there.
And yeah, once we were done, we just dump them in there and then
Oh
it
my
cools it
gosh.
down rapidly.
See, that's the heart of America right there. That's
Yeah.
innovation at work. I just love that.
Yeah.
I just love that.
But now Andrew's moved on to a professional,
No,
like,
I get
high-end,
it. I get it, but see
started
that.
actual roaster. And,
At Novel Coffee Roasters.
Well, I know, but
Got
see,
formal training now.
and so now, he came over the other day, and I said, "So now that you've learned over there, what would you do differently about roasting on this setup out on the gas grill?"
yeah.
He said, "The first thing I would do differently is not roast coffee on a gas grill." It's okay, that makes sense.
You know what though? I'll argue with that though. I went. One thing I did do over the summer is I went to this conference, and it was really on healthcare innovation, and we did this one experiment, and it was so stupid, but it was a bunch of hospital administrators basically that we were given basically these strands of pasta, and we were supposed to be able to make this the highest structure possible. Well, we did a horrible job in 30 minutes, and ours just was an epic fail. What they told us was, architects and engineers, they end up doing the best on this, given 30 minutes and limited, materials. The group that goes next best behind them are kindergartners. And you know why? Because kindergartners don't mind failing. They prototype over and over and over, and they don't care. They just think best idea wins amongst the kindergartners because they just want to prototype it so they get a cool thing, and they try over and over and over, whereas we just sat there for 30 minutes planning, and then finally we built it, and it was an epic fail. Mm-hmm. It was really eye-opening. So my point is that if you hadn't done that with all those various iterations, then you wouldn't have learned through failures.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, it's
So
it's
I
definitely a good
love
experience.
that.
Yeah, you've had some good. You have a real talent for building things with pallets.
Crap. Yeah. I love
No,
it.
you've built some impressive things with pallets.
Well, I love it just
like an
because
entire chicken coop. Aren't your bee boxes built with pallets?
all of them.
Yeah,
all
those
of
are
them.
legit.
No, they're legit, and it's because I'm so cheap. I can get up here at the feed store. They have so many pallets, and I just load them up in the truck and take them home. The problem is
When do you pick those up?
whenever,
Because they sell those,
not to me.
I think you're stealing.
No, I talk to them.
I think you roll up there after hours.
No,
and just,
no. I talk to him, and I'm like,
I'm
you
just
give. I'm just getting so defensive. No. I talk to him. There's some that they like to sell for $2.50 a piece, and then I take the crappy ones.
Yeah.
And so they give me the crappy ones, and I'm like, no, it's fine because I can make whatever out of those, and. The problem is deconstructing them because you think pallets, whatever, but pallets are made with these swivel nails.
Oh, it's a pain. I've done that. Yeah.
And they're treated wood, and that's what I like is the treated wood because it lasts forever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I generally have gotten to where I'll just cut all the individual pickets in between the ends, and I can get a lot of wood out of that.
It is a pain. Yeah, I disassembled some of those couple years ago. We've
Yeah.
got some things in our house on the walls that are actually made from pallets. I don't know
Oh,
if you've ever
there's
noticed them.
there's a tremendous amount you can do with like art just to, and I
You
think
made your sliding barn door out of pallets, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
That thing looks good.
No, it looks fine. So I've built a few things. The bee box is literally my bees, not beat box anyway, whatever. But that's all made out of pallet wood, which is good, and the bees seem to like to accept it, and it's fine.
Well, I think the whole thing that you do with the bees and the honey is all a phenomenal example of DIY.
I'm trying to save the world, one bee at a time.
I mean, you've basically gone from just watching YouTube videos about beekeeping to now being like a guy that people call in to come save their
and I can
save their homes from massive bee infestations.
That's right. Matter of fact, I've still got a lady in Irving that's waiting on me to go get those bees out of her backyard. So I got to go do that.
Yeah.
But now that it's getting chilly, they're fine. They're just chilling out in the tree. It's all good. I'll go get them.
I don't think she cares to hear that.
I don't think so. If she's a listener, I'm sorry. I'll come check in soon, but I don't really want to right now.
I remember that big wooden spool.
That was a nightmare.
Bee thing you had.
That was a nightmare.
That was the most bizarre thing I'd ever seen.
That must have been 100,000 bees in there. But anyway, so yeah, no, I like building stuff out of pallets. Like Kevin said, I built my chicken coop really with the aesthetics of the pallets. So I've got a frame that I built and then a metal roof because the pallets wouldn't have kept them. And anyway, but it looks good. And I found all that on Pinterest.
Yeah.
And so, I enjoy that.
While we're on the topic of DIY art, it's worth mentioning that Denton has a bit of a DIY music scene.
True.
That's
that
cool.
My brother is involved with.
Okay.
And so they have a lot of like house shows and...
So what does that mean though? When you say DIY music, it's like they have like instruments you can come up and like try out, or
no? It's like all the shows are do it yourself. Whereas normally it would be through like a promotion company, and you got promoters, and you got to sell tickets and all that. Like there, it's like
is it
basement shows.
Is it good talent or is it just trash?
There are a lot. I mean, there's a lot of trash.
Okay.
But I mean, there's also a lot of good bands.
That's cool.
I'm not too familiar with a lot of them, but I've heard some bands that came from like DIY scenes and stuff from other areas, and there's always going to be some
interesting acts. I'm sure
some good stuff coming out of.
I bet
the sea of trash.
The sea of trash.
Yeah. There's something else that's going on too, because there's a shared office movement across America too, where people don't want to work at home and they want to go to shared office space.
Yeah.
But
like
there's
Spaces, WeWork, Regis, all that.
Yeah, so you can, and so it's a real collaborative thing. But then there's also these concepts of the DIY shared tool shops, because there's a lot of cities where people don't have tools. I may have some tools, but we have to go buy some or whatever. If you don't want to buy your own, there's these kind of co-ops that are coming up too, where it's a DIY
what kind of tools?
co-op.
Are these like
no, it's everything.
Super high end,
I don't know
tools?
the answer to that, but I'm it's like hammers, screwdrivers, all your basic carpentry stuff. Well, people don't have that all over the place.
Really?
Yeah, and you can come borrow. You can just kind of. Basically a subscription service where you can be on this DIY tool co-op and come in, and there's workbenches and work areas in there too, and all the big saws and all that you can come and do your own projects. I think that's a great idea.
That makes sense with the saws and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you're just going to need a screwdriver,
because if you live in
go rent a screwdriver.
I know, but if you live in an apartment and you want to be a woodworker, you want to come and do some pallet art or whatever.
That makes sense. You got to go to a shop somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and maybe even kind of master craftsmen there that can kind of help guide you to what to do.
That's cool. That's a cool
I think that's a great idea. Mm-hmm. So anyway, all right. Well, let's talk about some of the things that we want to do. In my mind, the top of my list has always been welding. I've always wanted to figure out how to weld, and I don't know why. I just think it's cool, and
I do too. And I actually have a welder.
I know
that I've never used.
Well,
I've got the equipment.
I'm scared to death to even bust it out, because I would guarantee I'd set you on fire. See,
this is where we need to have my dad on here, because he can weld like you wouldn't believe.
Okay, yeah, we should get.
He just got to come over and teach me how to use it.
Yeah, just make sure I'm with you, because I want to learn.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not going to set anything on fire.
Just YouTube it.
No, I'm not YouTubing that. I mean, that's just straight out 4 billion degree heat coming straight out of your face. I mean, I'm not doing that. Somebody's got to teach me how to do that.
Oh, right. You gotta.
That actually knows what they're talking about. Now, I've done the soldering
Maybe a little
thing.
dramatic.
No, I'm not.
Should be a little dramatic.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, you're learning how to build a truck from YouTube.
Yeah, Franken truck.
I mean,
yeah,
If you can take a diesel engine out with your bare hands and put another one in,
I can do that.
You can weld.
I can do that.
Welding's basically just like soldering at a next level.
No.
I would say building a giant hunk of metal that flies down the road at 80 miles per hour with a
Yeah.
person inside is just as dangerous as
I don't think so.
But I do want to learn how to weld.
I don't think so.
I do want to learn how to weld.
Yeah. So I've just
I've
done
got
the
the
little
equipment.
baby step. I have soldered stuff, and that's like baby welding.
Baby.
And you just pull it apart. Yeah, that doesn't count in my mind. I want to take that to the next level.
yeah,
and
they
so
teach that to kindergartners.
it was soldering.
No,
I don't
not
think.
actually.
Okay, and then I've got on there a lot of additional carpentry work, some stonework and masonry. I'd like to do
Yeah,
that.
I'd like to learn that. And I've got a lot of stone
Yeah.
out. I just got all that stone and brick
Oh yeah.
crap out there.
Stone's free. You can just go pick it up, just like a pallet. Why
Well, you know,
can't
I've
we-
got a bunch.
We could build a stone wall somewhere.
You know about the stone pile out there, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
it's
still
beautiful.
got tons of that stuff.
We need
It's
to-
beautiful. Kendra hates it.
We need to put
Start
some.
learn how to
masonry
do
in.
it so you can take all that crap off.
We could
my
build like
property.
a Michelangelo stone something piece of art.
Me and my brother built a fire pit out of that.
We did.
Yeah.
See?
They did.
He forced us to make it, and we hated it.
They were on spring break. I said, "Your spring break project is build a fire pit."
We
Oh
were
my
so
God.
I said, "There's the
angry about it.
stones." Yeah,
We were
they
so
did a great
mad
job.
about it.
Okay.
They did a great
I
job.
don't remember seeing that.
It's the one out there by the barn.
Oh no, I've seen that.
Yeah, they built that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Way to go.
Thanks.
Um,
I was bitter the entire time.
They were.
Oh, my
They had
gosh.
to dig. They had to lift and move all those stones
I'm like,
over.
it's spring break, Dad. I just want to play Xbox.
yeah,
I'm like, that's why you're going to be out here instead of playing Xbox.
that does sound fun. Xbox. Okay, some of the other stuff that I want to learn, Kevin, is I do like the idea of hydroponics or aquaponics.
Oh yeah, that's cool stuff.
the water-based gardening.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever do it, but I want to. I'd love to be able to add like a plug, like electrical
That's
stuff.
easy.
No?
It is.
No?
I've done it.
No?
it is. It's very easy.
No, I'm talking to your box. You've actually
Oh, like run a
added-
wire.
Yeah. Like run a 20 like a 220 out to my arena so I could put lights up.
Yeah.
I'd like to do that, but Tyler knows how to do that, but I have no
Yeah,
idea. how
it's
to do
not hard. I need to do the same. I need to run a wire from that box in the garage out to my barn too.
it. Yeah, but you're tapping into like pure electricity. And I have that
Well,
scares me
you
to death.
You shut it off.
No, some of those guys they just put it right in. I don't know if
Well, I
they're like
wouldn't do it that
superhero
way.
or something.
I
but
wouldn't do it that way.
I'm just saying.
You don't have to do it that way, Kyle. You can
Okay.
shut it off.
I like the idea of turning everything off, wiring it, and then turn it back on, and then
Yeah, that's
hopefully
how
it doesn't
you should be doing
explode.
it. Yeah, that's how you should.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah.
Okay, so electricity. I'd like to teach my wife how to cut hair, just so she
Teach your
cut my
wife how
hair.
to.
Yeah, she won't do it.
Now we're on a list of what Amy needs to do.
I want Amy to learn DIY hair cutting.
All right,
so,
Amy.
So I don't have to go to Supercuts anymore.
What else do you need to teach the little lady to do around the house?
That's really it. That's really it. Well, Caroline, my daughter, she shaves our dogs. I'm like, it's the same thing, right? I don't know what the difference
Did you
is.
cut your own hair, Andrew?
I didn't know.
He was looking for his clippers to just. He was going to do that himself.
It looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's professionally done. So, and then let me just I'll end up with let me just tell you the story of Franken Truck. So we've talked about Franken Truck, and so one of my bucket lists now is to rebuild a car. And my buddy Dr. Buck down in Houston, he got me on this. It's totally his fault, and so he got me onto this because the whole idea is that. I'm going to give Caroline, when she goes off to college next year, my truck because she's going to take a horse or two with her to college. And she needs a truck. And so I get that. Well, I need a truck too because I'm moving Alice around or I'm moving Alice's baby. You're getting hay from Oklahoma or whatever. So I need a truck. And so I thought, so my friend Dr. Buck gave me this idea with Copart. It's this auto salvage website. And I'm like,
Not a sponsor.
Absolutely not a sponsor. And I'm like, I'm a genius. I will absolutely do this. I will buy
I'm a genius.
salvaged truck and I'll fix it up. So I did that. I bought a truck. I won it.
That's a nice looking truck.
Yeah, I won this on an auction, and when it's in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and I asked the guy to bring it to me down here in Argyle, and
is the interior as good as it looked on the pictures? It looked really nice in the pictures.
It's a little worn hard. The guy wore it hard, but Caroline and I have been cleaning it up. It looks okay.
Yeah.
It's a 2008 F-250 6.4 liter diesel engine. For anybody
That's
who wants
what I
to
have.
know. So good truck. But apparently those 6.4 liter diesels are tricky, and if you don't maintain it with the oil and new oil all the time, then it can blow on you.
Well, that your truck is a money pit.
Yeah, thanks.
That's pretty well known.
Yeah. And now I know that.
Mine's a money pit.
I didn't know that.
I would have just given you mine.
Yeah. So that's what I have. And the guy in Fayetteville, he calls me when he's loading it up, and he's like, Mr. Kirkpatrick, you do know that this truck is inoperable. I'm like, what? No, I'm not familiar with that word, because I thought I bought it and it was going to be operable.
He said, let me put it into medical terms that you're familiar with. The patient has died on the table.
Yeah.
We've tried all of the techniques we have.
Yeah,
it's flatline.
Yeah, so they brought it down, they hauled it down here, and they took it to this auto mechanic next to us here, and he calls and he's like, it's a train wreck. It's, the engine's dead. And so now I'm in the process of replacing a diesel engine on that so that I can have an old work truck. So anyway, that's what I'm doing.
I really still think I think you're a little too negative on it.
Yeah.
Because based on what you paid, I don't know what the cost is for a diesel engine.
It's going to be $7,000 to $11,000.
So I think you'll still.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'll still be under what you would have.
I think so
paid
too.
for one.
I
to
hope,
just go out and buy
I
it,
hope
or pretty
so.
close.
I'm still the optimist, and I've got a friend in the rodeo world that he's done this for 40 years, and I trust him implicitly. So
because those trucks aren't cheap. Even.
No, so Ronnie's going to get it and fix it, and I'm not going to do it myself. I'm going to give it. This is not a DIY, even though it's on my bucket list. I'll probably do it with a Jeep or something, of like literally taking it apart and putting it back together for fun. This is not that project. I'm smart enough not to do this.
What do people say? I don't know a whole lot about diesel engines at all.
They're trickier than regular.
But what do people say about replacing? Because what I was told was that like a diesel engine's not even broken in until it has like 100,000 miles.
That's right. That's
so
right. But
would yours be a brand new, or is it just one that's lifted out?
So that's what Ronnie, my friend Ronnie's going to do. He's like, Kyle, I'm not even going to tell you until I really get it and take a look at it. And so he's going to basically get it this next week. And the deal is it's thrown a rod, and that's what that. And I've learned all about all the basics of an engine now, because I didn't know. I'm an idiot. I don't know anything about engines. And so when it's done that, it means that the oil pressure it failed, and it was just metal on metal, and it ultimately twisted and just is a disaster. That it caused ultimate havoc to that engine block and the rods that really generate the
That's
power.
what happened to my very first car.
Mine too.
That I ever had.
Mine too. I didn't even know what it meant.
I was driving down 820, and all of a sudden it just started
yeah
like that, and then I pulled over, and then it was just dead.
Yeah.
And that car was a 1976 Honda Civic.
Oh yeah.
So it was just totaled.
No,
it wasn't even worth putting a new engine in. It was totaled.
They just take it to the junkyard and smash it right then. That's all they do.
Didn't that happen to Aaron's truck and we put a new engine in it?
No, it didn't throw a rod. It had another issue. Yeah. We put a few engines in that one.
Yeah.
We have an auto service company that we use, and like their default is just replace the engine.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that seems.
Need to change the oil filter? Nah, just replace the whole engine. Just pull it out. No, I'm just joking about that. But yeah, that was worth putting an engine in, though.
Yeah.
But a little Honda Civic, I just picked it up myself and just crinkled it up and threw it in the trash can. That small of a car.
Oh my gosh. Well, that is on my bucket list. Ultimately, is to really take a car apart and put it back together. And I've
Really?
Yeah, no, really. I've added that to my new bucket list. So I'll probably get another salvage car and then put it together. Because my buddy Dr. Buck, he's doing that with Jeeps right now. He bought 2 of them.
He's got 2 Jeeps.
Yeah, he's got one that's all smashed and one that he's basically taken apart, putting back together, and I saw it. It looks amazing. And he's taking parts off that twisted Jeep that literally frame bent and all that, and he's putting parts from it to the other one. And he got it for a few $100s, you know.
I need 2 cars
Yeah. Well,
for the twins.
all right, well, good luck with
You
that.
were gonna buy a couple and rebuild them for me.
Yeah, let me get right
Yeah,
off.
while you're at it, just go ahead and get another one.
Let me
I'm gonna
get-
call that lady that's been waiting on you for the bees. We're gonna form a.
Yeah.
We're gonna file a
coalition.
class action lawsuit.
You know.
It's like a coffee run,
Lack of
except it's
delivery.
a car run.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're gonna get him, just give me one too.
Yeah, there you go.
I need 2 of them.
Well, it is on my list. I mean, and matter of fact, to the point where I wanted to even like get a broker's license so that I could get them.
I remember.
Buy them and then fix them up and
Yeah.
sell them. But what a pain. I actually have to work and take care of my family
Right.
too. So
Right. Exactly.
anyway, I appreciate that. Any final thoughts on DIY today?
I don't think so.
Oh gosh, that's such a give up.
A lot of projects that are not being done right now because
Oh,
we're
yeah.
doing this on a Saturday morning.
Well, this is a good DIY project.
But
in itself,
our weather has
so
been so crappy.
It has.
I haven't been able to do anything.
Yeah, me either. Me either.
Yeah.
And it's like
It rains here every day now.
so rainy. The ark. We need to build an ark. So
Out
anyway,
of pallets.
that's right. All right. Hey, well, we appreciate you listening to us on How to Be a Texan and listening to our ramblings on DIY.
It's good to be back.
It's good to be back, man.
We took way too much time off.
It's good. It's good.
Doing
Fully
too much DIY over the summer.
fully refreshed.
All right. Well, adios. Look us up on Spreaker, iTunes,
I need to think about that.
Google Play.
Shit, they're like rebooting.
I do. I forgot my lines.
That's great.
Y'all on Spotify yet?
I don't believe so.
You can do that this week.
Can't really get busy.
Yeah, I haven't
Spotify soon.
logged into Spreaker in a little while.
That's good. All right. Hey, you guys take care.
All
Have
right.
a good week.
Adios.